me for a trip upon your magic swirling ship. All my senses have been stripped, and my hands can't feel to grip, and my toes too numb to step. Wait only for my boot heels to be wandering. I'm ready to go anywhere. I'm ready for to fade onto my own parade. Cast your dancing spell my way. I promise to go under it. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you.
Happiness, a poem written by Meg Gordon when she was a young girl, for which she received 100% mark from her teacher. Happiness is a joy of colours all bright, a sparkle of glitter glowing in the night. To me, it is a smile or big rosy cheeks, big freckles on a big smiling face. To me, it is a big red-green balloon floating in the air. It is the far sun set in the late afternoon, or a colourful picture sitting in a room, or the stars that sparkle fire bright. It is the colour of the opera house with the sun shining on its roof, and a little baby waking from its goodnight rest, and the smile on its face when its mother enters the room. We unite today to honour and celebrate the life of Margaret Mary Anderson, and to bid farewell to this special woman. Good afternoon. Some of you may know me, but for those who don't, my name is Katie Wicking, and I have been afforded the honour of leading today's service for Meg. A woman who is obviously a much-loved mother of two, grandma or mama, daughter, sister, family member, and friend. Meg was an integral part of her children's lives. She loved Nikki, Chris, and grandson Flynn more than anything, and much of what you will hear today has been written by Chris, a collaboration of memories and the love that he and his sister share for their mum. In honour of Meg's Catholic christening and beliefs, I invite you all to be standing and join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Please be seated. Meg was a strong woman who loved many things throughout her lifetime: arts and crafts, listening to music, her dogs, cats and birds, and all the additional dogs, cats and birds over the years, caring for sick and injured animals, and above all else, spending time with her family, particularly the light of her life, grandson Flynn. Margaret Mary Gordon, always known as Meg, was born on the 4th of December 1961 at Engadine in Sydney with a birth weight of 6 pounds 12 ounces. She was instantly adopted and named by loving parents Margaret and John Gordon, Guy and Pa. Meg is the youngest of two, having grown up with her loving and supporting sister, Anne. Meg used to always tell of her childhood adventures of growing up in and around the Mossman area in Sydney. The building, racing and crashing of various billy carts, skateboards and skates with her cousins and friends on the steep slopes of Awaba Street and Balmoral were a true memory Meg used to retell to her children often. The main partner in crime in Meg's memories was Michael, who was constantly mentioned in her many stories. Chris tells me of how he used to always try to imagine and guess where Meg and Michael crashed, played and tormented the peaceful Mossman neighbourhood in the late 60s and the early 70s. She told Nikki, her daughter, of how Guy would send Michael and herself off to the shops with the red wagon to buy them a carton of beer. Meg always enjoyed being around her extended family, and in her late teens, early 20s, she spent a lot of time with her younger cousins, Melissa, Rebecca, and Nicole, aka Bigger Nick. She became their bigger big sister and was a treasured presence in all of their lives right up to the present time. Meg's passion for these three was like a rock, and when it came to maintaining contact over the years, Meg was always the person. Chris, Meg's son, tells me of that glow of happiness in his mum's face when she was showing him photos of Melissa and Steve's little baby, Esther, and telling Chris of how she's over the moon to be reconnected, as they'd lost contact over the years and journeys. Melissa became godmother to Nikki in 1981, and Bigger Nick became godmother to Christopher shortly after his 1984 birth. Mum just loved finding and buying special gifts and random things like books, clothes, toys, and inappropriate funny items only Meg seemed to come across. A true passion of Meg's was preparing and collecting Christmas stockings for Nick and Chris, collecting and buying things all year round. It was Meg's pure enjoyment to sit back and watch the smiles and happiness develop from the joy of digging through the Christmas stockings and discovering the various gifts. Meg was a sweet tooth, from the days when she would go to the shops with 20 cents and come home with a heap of lollies, to the latter times when she would buy something yummy. She rarely put herself first and enjoyed discovering new lollies to try and to share with her friends and family. In the presence of all kids, Meg was the ultimate clown in nature and always managed to give a smile and receive the warmth from others around her being happy. This was one of her true joys and passions. Nothing seemed to ever stop Mum from doing something. Her motivation always led to some type of treasure, her passion for woodwork and woodcraft, with her talented hands, her true masterpiece, her mind a never-ending inspiration and reflection of creativity. From all of Meg's little things, her big things seemed to grow and develop in wonderful, mysterious creations. From Anne's beautiful wedding cake to the knot of natural Australian timber she was told she couldn't turn into a vase, and which she quickly did. After many years, it is still the centrepiece on Guy and Pa's dining room table down in Mossman. If it wasn't Flynn or Esther, it was for Guy or Pa that Mum's next work of art was created. A large part of Meg's life, unfortunately, was her pain. Chris really didn't want to mention her pain today, but it is something that Meg resisted, lived with, and still managed to accomplish in her life, all while living with lupus. This was Meg's opposition within her life, having lived with a constant reoccurring pain and the joys of the daily medications. The last 2 months of Mum's battle with cancer, which she won regardless of her outcome. Her power to fight and overcome this allowed Mum to leave in peace. Meg is a true miracle child, and one of many in this world we live in, but for Meg to have overcome the battle she fought this year alone just proves it is nothing compared to the face of death knocking at one's door. At one stage, this year in February, Meg was literally living towards death. The pain was debilitating to watch. Meg survived her surgery in March to be able to laugh again, eat again. She could taste, talk, and live life towards a good future. And this future was Flynn and spending more time with him. Meg never gave up. There was never an ending in sight for her. She was happy again, and Chris tells me of how he believed she was beginning to gain a satisfaction and enjoyment of her life after experiencing such hard times. The one thing Meg's family know is that Meg was so happy to be spending her final moments in life with her ultimate passion, grandson Flynn. The last thing Meg heard before falling asleep last Monday afternoon was Flynn and Nikki sitting on the floor while Flynn's laughter of enjoyment was filling the room. As mentioned before, Flynn was Meg's light in life. Meg attended the Sacred Heart Primary School and then Monte St. Angelo Catholic College in Mossman. When she completed her school certificate in 1977, she had worked at a few different places, particularly a pharmacy messenger, a pharmacy assistant, veterinary assistant, a domestic housekeeper, labourer with a garage door company, and until March 1981, Meg worked for CSD, the Central Sterilisation Department of the Mater Misericordia Hospital in North Sydney. In 1981, when she was 19 years old, Meg became a mother to daughter Nicole. In the coming years after that, Meg met Mark Anderson, who was a friend of her sister Anne, and the attraction was mutual, and the pair married in 1983 when Nicole was 2 years old. Their family grew quickly with the arrival of son Christopher in 1984. In the mid-1980s, the family left Sydney and moved up to Mark's hometown of Coffs Harbour near his parents Val and Jack Anderson before they purchased the property in the town of Dorrigo. Mark was able to continue his career as a mechanic. Meg's passion for animals was reflected in her actions, and she quickly became involved in dog showing not long after Nicole. Prior to moving up to Dorrigo, Meg came to meet some true life friends within the dog show arena. In particular, Ellen Dawson, Glenys Clark, and Rosalind Tapp. This continued to grow when Meg first met Karen and Steve Wood, where an 11-year passion grew. And this was the Dorrigo and Guy Fawkes annual dog show, where Meg was secretary for 11 years. Some of Meg's other treasured canine companions have been Ivy, Floyd, and her bird, Doc. These three, like all animals, brought her much joy over the years. Meg was also a registered breeder of purebred Border Collies, Bidan Dorrig Border Collies. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Wait to hear the next one I've got to pronounce. Meg's love of animals extended to other species. She was a wildlife rescuer for many years, caring for sick and injured native animals. Nikki and Chris told me that they'd often find weird and wonderful animals in their house, including Nikki walking into an echidna in the bathroom floor that had escaped, Bob the kookaburra, and a wallaby who'd wait for the kids on the couch to watch TV with them. Local children would take pride in presenting Meg with bags of dead mice for her tawny frog mouth, and the kids would often find frozen mice in the freezer. Nikki and Chris told me that Meg was a wonderful cook. She always made every birthday very special for them, baking wonderful cakes for her children. Nikki told me how important she felt when her mum worked as a teacher aide at her primary school and taught art and crafts to the students there, even if her mum did kick her out of class one day for being rude. Meg also insisted on making all of their costumes for school concerts. Even if they were daggy or not, the kids were always so very proud. Meg loved Christmas and always started shopping for those stocking fillers in January each year. She would surprise the family with all the little knickknacks she'd managed to find, and every stocking always had a pullback car of some kind for the annual Christmas Day race. She made all of Chris, Nikki and Flynn's Christmas stockings, which they still use to this day. One particular memory of Mum that brought a smile to both Nikki and Chris's face was a special poem that Meg loved. I'm told she insisted that they both learn this poem when they were young. So, in honour of you today, Meg, we will now listen to a poem by C.J. Dennis called Trianti Wanti Gongalope, read by Colin Friels. Sorry, by C.J. Dennis.
The Trianti Wanti Gongalope. There's a very funny insect that you do not often spy. And it isn't quite a spider, and it isn't quite a fly. It is something like a beetle and a little like a bee, but nothing like a woolly grub that climbs upon a tree. Its name is quite a hard one, but you'll learn it soon, I hope. So try. Try, anti, wanti, Trianti Wanti Gongalope. It lives on weeds and wattle gum and has a funny face. Its appetite is hearty and its manners a disgrace. When first you come upon it, it will give you quite a scare. But when you look for it again, you find it isn't there. And unless you call it softly, it will stay away and mope. So try, anti-wanti, Trianti Wanti Gongalope. It trembles if you tickle it or tread upon its toes. It's not an early riser, but it has a snubbish nose. If you sneer at it or scold it, it will scuttle off in shame, but it purrs and purrs quite proudly if you call it by its name, and offer it some sandwiches of sealing wax and soap. So try, anti-wanti, Trianti Wanti Gongalope. But of course you haven't seen it, and I truthfully confess that I haven't seen it either, and I don't know its address. For there isn't such an insect, though there really might have been if the trees and grass were purple and the sky was bottle green. It's just a little joke of mine, which you'll forgive, I hope. Oh, try, anti-wanty, try anti-wanty gongolope.
I would personally like to thank you, Meg, for introducing me to such a great poem. I might even make sure my children learn that one now. To Meg's delight, she became a grandmother in 2008 when grandson Flynn was born. Flynn has been her greatest joy over the past 3.5 years. And Meg delighted in spending time with him during her visits to Nikki's house, and Flynn shared a very special bond with his mama. Meg's health had been deteriorating over the past few years. She passed away quietly last Monday. And while Meg can rest peacefully, proud of her accomplishments, her family can celebrate those achievements and be very proud to have shared in her life's journey. I'd now like to invite Meg's best friend's daughter, Melissa, who has been a long-time family friend, to share a few words on behalf of her mum, Nolene.
This is from Mum. I first met Meg when I moved to Dorrigo, and that was the start of a friendship between myself and my children. Meg had a great love for dogs. I remember the first time she got clown face. We set off to get her. On the way back, we saw a mandarin tree, and we pulled off the road, got bogged, and laughed for days as we never got any mandarins. It was nothing to go to Meg's place to find birds, lizards, cats, dogs. Meg became the place everyone could drop their injured animals to. There was a terrible three, Meg, myself and Lisa. We would go out together to the raffles, bands, barbecues, etc. We won meat raffles, so Meg, Lisa and myself set off to collect them from the bottom pub at 11 a.m. 9 hours late, we returned home, still didn't get the meat trays, but had the best day with two best friends. Meg loved her kids, Nicole and Chris, but the apple of her eye was Flynn. I'm going to miss Meg, as she was a very good friend to me, and many of our secrets have gone with her.
Thank you, Melissa. Nikki would now like to share a special tribute to her mum on behalf of herself and Flynn.
I'm sorry, it's going to be really shocking. Mum, I have a lifetime of such funny and awesome memories of you, us and our family. You have made me the proudest daughter. I'm so glad I gave you a grandson. Flynn is a bit of all of us in him, and I hope I can make him as proud, make me as proud as you did for me, you know what I mean. Some of the nutty things you did, I can say I laugh about so hard, from the silly faces on our lunch bags, to standing on the sideboard painting the roof at 1 a.m. singing Accidentally Kelly Street. There are so many things I remember, but I'll keep them and we'll tell Flynn about them as he gets older and when it's legal to tell him some of the things we did. Flynn and I are honoured to be a part of you, and I promise to always share our great times. Flynn wrote you a special letter, and I want to read it to you. And he drew a picture, and it's got a train track on the back of it. Dear Mama, I love you so much. I'm going to miss you very much. I know you are very happy up in heaven. I've picked a special star for you, and I know you're watching over us. Love forever and ever, Flynn. And he was only saying last night that Mum asked to Uncle Chris that Mama's on the moon and she's going to catch a helicopter to the star. He's going to come back later on and tell us some funny stories, no doubt. Mum, thank you for being you. I'll always love you and cherish your memory. Bye, Mum. I love you so much.
Thank you, Nikki. And Flynn. Chris and Nikki's father, Mark, would also like to say a few words.
I hadn't prepared anything, and I only decided to say something this morning, and I just want to say, Megsie, we had some good times together, and I loved you, and we shared dreams. And I know we're not together, and I know you had a lot of pain. But I'm so glad you got through that operation. And you're so proud of Nikki and so proud of Christopher. I know I am. And I'm glad in the last year or so we started to talk a bit more. And I'm glad I saw you before you passed away. And I'm glad I got to say goodbye, although I wasn't expecting it to be the last one. I was actually coming over with Christopher's violin the day you passed away. And I was going to say goodbye then because I knew you were going back to Goffs the next day. But I just wanted to say thank you for being part of my life. And I loved every minute of it. And I'm sorry it didn't work out, but I'm glad you lived. And you continue to live on in everyone's hearts. Goodbye, Megsie. I loved you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Chris, would you like to say something? Is there anybody else here who'd like to come forward and say a few words about Meg?
I want to say something.
Sure.
Well, there's a lot of things I could say about Meg. So I'll tell you a few things that made her special to me. Over the years, she's been a second mum to me, like, you know, telling me when I'm doing stuff wrong, telling me when I've got to go home from the pub because I've drank too much, you know, and who to breed with, and, you know, ha ha ha, the joke's on me. She went out of her way to make us all have the best of everything, even if she had to make it herself. As you know, I'm a rum drinker. And for my 18th, she made a beautiful rum can cake. And I didn't even get to take any home because everyone ate it on me. The memories I have of Meg is always in the kitchen, dancing, loving music and making us appreciate all of it. And she used to get a bit of a giggle out of the town goss of Dorrigo. So, you know, me and Chris have got a good one up our sleeve. And I'm going to just miss you, Doodah. And I know she'd be up there watching us and just laughing, thinking yous are just weirdos. So, thank you.
I haven't written anything either. But growing up, Meg provided Melissa, Rebecca and myself with what I'd call respite. She taught us how to swim, the three of us, blackmailing us with paddle pops. She threw me in, I recall. And every birthday without fail, we would have a train cake or a swimming pool cake or a totally over the top cake. And every kid who came, like this is when we were younger, would go like, my God, and it'd be like, yeah, of course, you know, yeah. But I recall one day that really made me laugh, and she took us down to Manly Football Oval, and there was a fence, you know, you had to pay to get in, but no, not Meg. She said, no, stand here, big your neck, and she threw the blanket over the fence and threw each of us over the fence, then climbed over the fence, and then we sat on the hill and watched Manly play rugby. Don't let money get in the way of doing fun stuff. She loved Nick and Christopher, and I wish I was a better cousin to her. But that's for me to deal with. But she loved to cook, and I blame her for being the fat one out of the three of us, because it was her biscuits that got my sweet tooth going. But I guess the last thing I want to say she used to say this to me, and it still to this day makes me laugh. Oh no, first of all, I want to thank her for introducing me to the most magnificent array of music. From Melanie to Donovan and Ravi Shankar. You were around then, Mark. I can remember, I've still got a few records, and often I'll play them at home and think of you both. But the last thing I want to say, which still cracks me up to this day, and I quite understand it, and forgive me for swearing here today, but it was, little cicada, up in the tree, why do you keep pissing on me? She'll be sorely missed, and yeah.
I ask you all now to take a few moments to remember Meg in your own way, as we have the opportunity to share some of her family memories.
I had a little beetle, so that beetle was his name, and I called him Alexander, and he answered just the same. And I put him in a matchbox, and I kept him all the day. But Nanny let my beetle out, Nanny let my beetle out. She went and let my beetle out, and beetle ran away. She said she didn't mean it, and I never said she did. She said she wanted matches, and she just took off the lid. She said I mustn't worry, and I really mustn't mind, that there's lots and lots of beetles that she's certain we could find. She said I mustn't worry, but it's difficult to catch an excited sort of beetle you've mistaken for a match. If we looked in all the places that a beetle might be near, and we made the kind of noises that a beetle likes to hear. And I heard a kind of something, and they gave a sort of shout. It was a beetle house, and Alexander Beetle coming out. It was Alexander Beetle, I'm as certain as can be. And he had a kind of look as though he thought it might be me. And he had a kind of look as though he thought he ought to say, I'm really very sorry that I tried to run away. And Nanny's very sorry too, 'cause you know what she did. And she's writing Alexander very blackly on the lid. So Nan and me are friends because it's difficult to catch an excited Alexander you've mistaken for a match.
What number is this, Chip?
7A.
Okay, no, I mean, don't get excited, man. It's because I'm short, I know. Oh, I could hide neath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. The 6 o'clock alarm would never ring, but it rings and I rise, wipe the sleep out of my eyes. My shaven razor's cold and it stings. Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? You once thought of me as a white knight on his steed. Now you know how happy I can be. Oh, and our good time starts and ends without $1 to spend. But how much, baby, do we really need? Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a
I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Take me for a trip upon your magic swirling ship. All my senses have been stripped, and my hands can't feel to grip, and my toes too numb to step. Wait only for my boot heels to be wandering. I'm ready to go anywhere. I'm ready for to fade onto my own parade. Cast your dancing spell my way. I promise to go under it. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you.
In celebration of the kind soul Meg was, and in honour of her devotion to animals, I'd like to share the following reading titled A Pet's Prayer. If it should be that I grow frail and weak, and pain should keep me from my sleep, then you must do what must be done, for this, the last battle, can't be won. You will be sad, I understand. Don't let your grief then stay your hand, for this day, more than the rest, your love and friendship stand the test. We've had so many happy years, what is to come can hold no fears. You'd not want me to suffer so. When the time comes, please let me go. Take me where my needs they'll tend, only stay with me to the end, and hold me firm and speak to me until my eyes no longer see. I know in time you will see it is a kindness you do to me. Although my tail its last has waved, from pain and suffering I'll be saved. Don't grieve it should be you who decides this thing to do. We've been so close, we two, these years. Don't let your heart hold any tears. Smile, for we walked together for a little while. It is now time to say our last goodbyes to Meg. Can I ask you all to please be upstanding as we pay our final respects? One night, a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashed scenes from his life. For each scene, he noticed two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to him and the other to the Lord. When the last scene of his life flashed before him, he looked back at the footprints in the sand. He noticed that many times along the path of life, there was only one set of footprints. He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life. This really bothered him, and he questioned the Lord about it. Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I have noticed that during the most troublesome times in my life, there is only one set of footprints. I don't understand why, when I needed you most, you would leave me. The Lord replied, My son, my precious child, I love you, and I would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. Now we say our last goodbye, in grief at Meg's passing, but in gratitude of her life and the very special privilege of sharing in it. we can say that we are glad Meg lived. We are glad we saw her face. We are glad we felt her touch and heard her laughter. She kept us warm of heart. Please be seated. What the heart has once known, it shall never forget. And I'm sure that Meg would not want you all to grieve in hurt or pain, but instead take pleasure and comfort in the memories that you made together. We will forever cherish the love that Meg has given, that she has received, and that you have all shared. Farewell, Meg. We wish you well on your journey and know that your bright side will forever shine in our hearts.
Seven A.
Okay, don't get excited, man. It's because I'm short, I know.
Oh, I could hide neath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. The 6 o'clock alarm would never ring, but it rings and I rise, wipe the sleep out of my eyes. My shaven razor's cold and it stings. Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? You once thought of me as a white knight on his steed. Now you know how happy I can be.